The spread of the worldwide pandemic COVID-19 causes a national health emergency in the country. It has greatly affected millions of lives not only because of the virus, but also due to the lockdown of most cities and provinces, forcing people to self-isolation in order to mitigate the spread of the virus. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected the educational system worldwide, leading to the near total closure of schools. In our country, the Department of Education continuously looks for other alternative learning modalities that would help in the continuous education of all Filipino learners. Education that would cater to the needs of its people in various walks of life and still being true to its mandate of providing quality and equitable basic education. With this in mind, Dumaran National High School came up with a plan which will serve as a guide of the school in ensuring the continuous education of the Dumareño learners, a plan that is in line with the 4 pillars of basic education, namely accessibility, quality, relevance, and resilience. The Dumaran National High School is in support to the principle of the Department of Education that no matter what, service will and should go on. And so, we present to you our Learning Continuity Plan, which will be used not just during this time of pandemic, but whenever the situation calls for its need. We hope that this plan will lay down the pathways where we can lead our learners towards the realization of true education. Anchoring on the 4 areas of concern of DepEd and contextualizing it to suit to the needs of the clientele and the stakeholders during this time of pandemic. Dumaran National High School ensures the public that we adhere to the DepEd's mission and vision of providing quality education. Through this learning continuity plan, we target objectives that are achievable and measurable that would help us guide on the activities and programs that will be accomplished by the school. Dumaran National High School aims to sustain the delivery of quality, accessible, relevant, and liberating basic education services to all Dumareño learners, despite the emerging health situation brought about by COVID-19 pandemic through multimodal delivery of instruction. Specifically, the Dumaran National High School has 8 objectives. The first objective, ensure that K-12 learners in Dumaran have learned the competencies of previous grade level and are ready for the next grade level. Second, map the learning context and types of learners present in the different feeder barangays of Dumaran National High School. Third, align existing learning materials with the competencies and standards of the curriculum. Fourth, utilize information communication technology systems and other available platforms in the delivery of basic education. Next objective, capacitate the school head and teachers on online instruction, modular approach, and other alternative modes of instruction other than face-to-face. Sixth objective, orient learners and parents on the approaches for a new normal setup of the delivery of basic education. Seventh objective, ensure safe and conducive learning environment. Last objective, tap stakeholders to ensure quality delivery of distance education and blended learning. In the first objective, ensure that K-12 learners in Dumaran have learned the competencies of their previous grade level and are ready for the next grade level. These are the strategies, programs, and activities of the school. First, implement bridging program for grade 7 and 11 entrants. Second, conduct remedial classes for learners with 1 to 2 failed subjects in the previous grade level. Third, provide technical assistance to teachers in identifying non-mastered competencies in 8 learning areas per quarter as basis for home-based remediation. Fourth, strengthen the division campaign on the use of DepEd Commons. In the second objective, map the learning context and types of learners present in the different feeder barangays of Dumaran National High School. These are the strategies, programs, and activities of the school. Gather data on the learning context and types of learners in the feeder barangays. Gather data on the number of teachers with available resources required for non-face-to-face mode of teaching. Third, determine the number of learners who need printed instructional materials. In the third objective, align existing learning materials with the competencies and standards of the curriculum. These are the strategies, programs, and activities of the school. Prepare the list of critical competencies for each week of the school year. Conduct an inventory of all available learning materials and resources for the competencies of the curriculum. Harvest all available materials identified in the inventory. Develop additional learning materials for competencies which do not have available materials. Contextualize existing learning materials or modules. In the fourth objective, utilize information communication technology systems and other available platforms in the delivery of basic education. These are the strategies, programs, and activities of the school. Survey of in-school infrastructure for online or blended learning. Convert existing learning materials and newly developed materials to digital format to be used for online-offline learning. Allocate budget for the printing of learning materials for learners identified as print-only learners. In the fifth objective, capacitate the school head and teachers on online instruction, modular approach, and other alternative modes of instruction other than face-to-face. These are the strategies, programs, and activities of the school. Determine school heads and teachers who are competent on facilitating non-face-to-face learning delivery. Determine the number of teachers who need capacity building for online-offline instruction, modular approach, radio-based instruction, among others. Send teachers to online trainings on how to facilitate non-face-to-face learning delivery. The sixth objective, orient learners and parents on the approaches for a new normal setup of the delivery of basic education. These are the strategies, programs, and activities of the school. Conduct orientation to learners and parents on the new normal setup of learning delivery. Capacity building of parents on guiding the learning in the non-face-to-face learning activities. In the seventh objective, ensure safe and conducive learning environment. These are the strategies, programs, and activities of the school. Prepare guidelines on the new normal in school. Use of face masks as part of the uniform, social distancing, regular hand washing, and other measures. Pigeonhole for learning materials and tasks. Decontaminate all schools. Prioritize schools with classrooms for repair. Enhance the disaster risk reduction management capability of school. Come up with a plan to consider when there is a risk in the implementation of non-face-to-face modes of delivery of instruction. Conduct trauma debriefing brought about by COVID-19 to school teaching and non-teaching personnel. Conduct wellness program for teaching and non-teaching personnel. Conduct Brigada Eskwela. In the last objective, top stakeholders to ensure quality delivery of distance education and blended learning. These are the strategies, programs, and activities of the school. Develop comprehensive partnership framework.